Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Around, and today I'm reviewing the latest entry in the Predator franchise, the Hulu original Predator Killer of Killers. Awesome name, by the way. So going into this, I knew that it was being co-directed by Dan Trachtenberg, the same guy who directed Prey, which was another breath of fresh air, into the Predator franchise. If there's one positive thing I can say about, Disney acquiring everything, and this has kind of been said on the internet already, they're doing a lot with the Predator franchise. My only wish is that we were getting these released in theaters. I know the next one coming out later this year is also coming out in theaters, but it would have been nice to see Prey or even maybe Killer of Killers on the big screen. Full disclosure, this is a movie that the first 10, 15 minutes I wasn't sold on, but by the end of it, it had me. So let's get into a spoiler free review of Predator Killer of Killers. We jump between different time periods, Viking times to feudal Japan to World War II. And we're like each different person from this historical era, deals with the Yachua, the predator, trying to find the perfect warrior for this contest on their home world, which is a really interesting premise because in a lot of ways it's similar to 2010's Predators that shows, a group of people being dropped into the jungle on their planet to be hunted. But in an earlier version of the script, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover were supposed to come back as their respective characters as formidable warriors that the Yachua wanted to bring to their planet to hunt. And I love how Killer of Killers kind of runs with that premise. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the animation style, I know, come at me in the comments. It's a little too PlayStation cutscene for me. It rubs me the wrong way, and I'm sorry. But I was willing to overlook that for what is an amazing story that I almost wish had gone even further. I think the whole movie, it's an anthology, sort of. I almost think it would have worked better less as an anthology and more. I know I said spoiler free, but minor spoilers here. If we had started instead of ending up at the Yachua planet for the tournament, if maybe we had started there and each warrior had in flashback, we see how they wound up there. And I kind of was wishing it was more than three because you could have done. We have the Viking warrior, we have the samurai, we have the young World War II pilot. But I feel like you could have done even more with that. And I love that they find with each other the spirit of camaraderie, even though they are from different places, they are from different time periods. There's a mutual respect as warriors that even the Yautja have for them. So it's a really cool concept, and I love that it exists. And while I'm not crazy about the animation style, and I think that was my hang up for those first 10, 15 minutes because I didn't like what I was looking at. But as the story went on, I got more and more engaged and was like, okay, like I dig this. And it almost feels like they've been listening to the fans because how long have people been saying, drop a predator into feudal Japan and have him fight a samurai? And as much as I wish that had been a whole movie, each of these vignettes, while we only get three of them, easily could have been their own movies. And I love the way it combines them. And major spoilers, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen Prey, that ending. It all kind of ties everything together really nicely and neatly, but leaves it open for more. I think when it comes to Predator movies, it's really not complicated. I know The Predator basically tried to remake Independence Day, but as a Predator movie, we just want to see warriors fighting each other. The thing about the Yachua is they have this like really fascinating culture of respect for their enemies that I think you see here. So I really, really enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised because, like I said, those first 10, 15 minutes, I wasn't entirely sold, but I'm glad that I stuck around for the rest of it. And I mean, fun fact, because of this movie and because of the voice acting of Michael Bain, He is now the third actor after the late Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen who has been killed by both a xenomorph and a Yachua on screen. I don't know if it counts because it's animation, but I'm going to go ahead and count it because if I don't, you guys are going to come at me in the comments. Hey, these are just my ramblings. This is just my review. What did you think of Predator Killer of Killers? What do you think of the animation style? Do you hope to see they do more with it? I know we are getting another movie later this year. Do you hope that this story itself continues? It kind of leaves it open for that. I kind of feel like you could do like a, Tournament of Champions best of, bring other characters back, crossover in this like tournament. There's so much potential here, and I think we're just barely scratching the surface. But for the love of all that is holy, Fox, Hulu, Disney, whomever's pulling the strings from behind the curtain, release it in theaters. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up being stalked by a weird alien, not xenomorph, but Yachua predator in whatever time period you're in. And then you have to outsmart them and fight them in ways that are genuinely awesome and cool. Like that dog fight was amazing. The dog fight, the planes fighting. I'm not talking the other stuff. And as always, every day is Halloween.